Picture this scenario. So you've been given the green light to head down a narrow channel. Everything's fine, you're on your merry way. Then before you know it, the harbour calls you and says, hey, there's another ship coming the other way. You realize that you're boxed in, you can't turn around, and they're the ones that sort of told you, oh, okay. Well, you realize that they screwed up, basically. And they're like, oh, we messed up. You guys are going to be alright to pass next to each other. We're in a narrow channel, mind you, that's pretty fucking narrow. And you can't really pass by another vessel that's of a similar size. But the situation is coming anyways. What would you do in this situation? You'd shit your pants, you'd be like, what am I doing now? Why am I telling you this story? I'll go through the actual story in a second, but I just wanted to keep your attention a little bit. So my name's Pete. I've been a mariner for about 5 years now. And this is a true story that actually happened to me. This was a couple of years ago. Fortunately, I didn't really deal with it. I had a master who was very, very experienced and actually managed to handle the situation. But the reason I'm going to tell you this is because this is the perfect example of why knowing the rules is not just enough. Decision-making, judgment, and experience are honestly the things that are going to save you, and that saved me, my master, and then the ship in this situation. So what happened is it was a terrifying story. So at the time, looking back on it though, it is quite funny to just revisit the experience. But what happened is we got told by the harbour services that we could go down the channel. Bearing in mind this channel, I'm not going to give away details of where it is, just because of the sensitivity of the operation. But we were going through, and yeah, before they knew it, they realised that they messed up, and they had given the green light to some vessel that was on the other side as well. Now, this could have ended in a horrible accident that would have been all over the news. Fortunately for us, it actually ended up being a pretty good scenario. Rule 9 obviously states that when you're in a narrow channel, you ought to stay on the starboard side and that you pass port to port. You didn't need me to tell you that. If you want to go read Rule 9, pause this video now and just go back to your book and have a quick read of it. The other thing that's at play here is pressure zones and physics. I'm not going to bore you with all that. If you want to go research about the canal effect, as well as bow and stern pressure zones and suction zones and all that, just go visit a physics lesson. But the quick science of this is there's pressure zones at the front and stern of your vessel, and then you got a suction zone in the middle. So you have to basically use that to your advantage, right? So early action isn't always the best action. It depends where you are. When you're in open water, I do recommend that. When you're in a narrow channel, hitting another, coming head on with another vessel, early action isn't actually what matters. Fortunately, the master and the guy on the other vessel, the master of the other vessel, we spoke to each other on the radio, and we said, yep, we're happy to do what's called the Texas chicken maneuver. Again, if you want to go look that up, please go look it up. But long story short, it's a maneuver where two vessels will come to each other, and then basically they'll point at each other, and then the last minute they'll do this, and then they basically pass right next to each other. Based on using the pressure zones and the suction zones, it actually enables you to pass a vessel very, very safely at anything less than probably 30 yards, 40 yards. I think we passed them at 20 yards or something, which was ridiculous. I could almost reach out and touch out the other vessel when they went past us. Now, what actually ended up happening is basically what I just explained to you. We basically just pointed, and then the very, very last second, we turned, did a little alteration out, used the pressure zones, and then came back in. Now, this is something that I saw that I'll never forget, is that I remember when, as soon as our bow sort of passed their bow, I saw the bow of our vessel get sucked in like that, and you could genuinely see the bow go like that, and I was like, holy shit. Basically, whoever's on the helm or whoever's driving the ship at the time, they did not overcorrect too quickly, and you got to tell them, hey mate, just hold the wheel for a second, because you're going to naturally want to overcorrect, but if you overcorrect, right, your stern's going to come in and is going to hit the vessel, so you don't want that either. So you want to just basically maintain as straight as possible. It's going to get sucked in, but then before you know it, it's going to push back out, and then you want to basically turn your wheel back that way so that your stern gets through the suction zone, through the stern pressure zone, and then you're good to go. Now, the Masters experience really helped in this situation because he didn't panic, he didn't overreact, he didn't chase the bow either. He just sort of said calmly, watch this, and then he made it work. I remember it was pretty funny at the time, and I was just like, after it happened, I was just like, holy fuck, how did that just happen? Once we cleared the vessel and we got alongside safely, we just kind of laughed about it. But that taught me a very, very important lesson about composure, ship handling, and nothing that you could probably learn from a computer screen or in a classroom. If you want to know actual maneuvers, like, you better off going to some other channel. I'm just here to tell you my experience from what I saw, and based on that, what I think really matters. So what really mattered that day and what actually solved the situation, you know, as much as experience did, it was communication. Communication with not just the harbour, but the other vessel. The harbour, once they sort of worked out that what we were going to do, they said to themselves, okay, it's fine, they've got the situation under control. That was something that really just stood out to me. And now I know that if I'm ever in that situation again, I can just go, oh, okay, I've seen this before. You know, it wouldn't stress me out, honestly. I'll just give you a quick plug at the end of this video. If you have enjoyed this video, please share with your friends, or for anyone who you think could learn from this experience. And I'm gonna just quickly link my plug my course in the top link in the description, which is my advanced IRPCS learning program that I've spent many hours putting into this. And I don't teach you the rules in a very boring way. It's a very entertaining way with a lot of stories that I have from my experiences and some experiences of other people that I've spoken to as well, and got their sort of takes on certain stories. And if you are someone who really wants to fast track your learning, you can get there in about 3 months, what I learned in about 5 years, and it's all compacted together in a series of videos and courses that are about, and I'm not selling it for much either. Like, you go to any sort of college, you're paying thousands of dollars for this. I'm literally only charging you $50 at the moment. It's on a pre-sale. I'm gonna bump up the price pretty soon, so get in there before you can. Thanks for watching.